Hello and welcome to the Gameplay Cast's review for the classic turn-based strategy Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate 1998. Developed by Random Games and published by Strategic Simulations, Chaos Gate is a game I still own the original CD of. Not that most computers even have disk drives anymore. The main reason I kept it was because of the fond memories I have of commanding my squad of Ultramarines through an epic campaign that felt every bit in keeping with the 40k tabletop game of the day. It's quite scary to think the game is 27 years old, mainly as it reminds me of how old I am. In any case, Chaos Gate, as you would imagine, takes heavy inspiration from the tabletop game. As you would expect therefore, the story centres around the Ultramarines and their sworn enemies, the Wordbearers. Take control of Brother Captain Kruger's forces as he hunts down the traitor Marine and Chaos Lord Zimran. The story centres around recovering some lost artefacts that eventually lead you to Chaos Teleportation Gates, hence the name of the game. These must be destroyed, and while it's not going to win any awards for the best story, there is a good amount of depth and challenge to the gameplay. So has this 27-year-old game aged like fine wine, or become bitter swill? Well, as a loyal Space Marine commander, I would never speak ill of noble battle brothers, but regardless of my faith in the Emperor, beloved by all, I can definitely recommend that this game is still packing, even after 27 years in the war. Keep watching to find out why, and to see Chaos Gate 1999's score out of 10. Okay, so let's start the review with the obvious. The game's soundtrack is quite simply the greatest of any game ever, and I'm willing to swear to the Inquisition that it contains some warp magic, as it's hypnotically brilliant. Of course, I am over-exaggerating, slightly, but it has some seriously good tunes, and once they're in your head, they will never leave. Moving on to the most important element, gameplay, I must say that for a 27-year-old game, it still rocks. Truth be told, it's still a great turn-based strategy. You need to consider how your units move around. Do they have cover? Should you use smoke grenades, etc. As the AI will punish you if you make a mistake. And though it does make the occasional strange choice, and some enemy units may occasionally glitch and hide on the map until you get close to them, all things considered, the AI is really not half bad. Moreover, if you consider the level of equipment options, the leveling up system for your Marines, the different units, vehicles and special characters, honestly, the gameplay and variety is still as fun now as it was back then. In many ways, while I did love the sequel, I always felt restricted by only controlling one 4-man squad. I always craved for the original flavour's multi-squad deployments with the bigger battles and scale, though clearly this comes without a lot of the modern razzmatazz and gloss. Another great thing about the game is its price. It currently costs around £3.50 on GOG, that's like $5 US, which for around 40 hours of gameplay is excellent value for money at about 9 pence per hour.
I'd buy that for $1.
You're damn right you would. Not much more to say really. Contrast this with say Star Wars Outlaws, still currently $59.99 on Steam. How it's still this price is beyond me, which had a similar average playtime of say 40 hours and it costs around £1.50 per hour. That's 16 times more. The final bolt in the chamber is the care and attention to detail in and around all the game's peripheral elements. The menu being the main deck of the ship, the over-the-top narration of the mission briefings, the touches are excellent and really make the game feel immersive and memorable. Is it all sunshine and rainbows? No, of course not. Compatibility can be a big issue for the game due to its age. I even read on a few forums that said the game was almost unplayable until some recent compatibility options were added to simulate old versions of Windows. Even when it's working properly, there's still the odd glitch and quirk which may require a reload, but nothing that was show-stopping. If anyone has cracked a quick and easy way to get the game run in windowed mode, please let me know in the comments, as I'd much appreciate the ability to do this. I tried a few methods and gave up as they didn't seem to work. The other main drawback of the game is its controls. They are very janky and missing a lot of the modern day quality of life refinements that we have become accustomed to. The zoom and terrain levels being the most obvious and problematic. They require constant adjustment to select and move and sometimes even see what's happening. These could be fixed I think with some modern mouse control integration, like using the scroll wheel for the zoom level instead of having the 3 fixed zoom options. Also some AI for the terrain level selection or shadow/outlines wouldn't go amiss either. Also, I think given the game's age, its graphics were never going to be comparable to today's standards, and while they are fairly basic, I don't think they hold the game back. They are just as functional today as they ever were, and they get the job done. However, I can get it if you can't see past them, but the beauty here is the gameplay, not the graphics. One element I will critique though is the limited mission types in the support missions. So between the main story missions, each of which will have some level of objective beyond just kill the bad guys, there are a number of support missions that you can complete to level your Space Marines and pick up some additional supplies. All good. However, there is literally zero variety in these missions other than the enemy composition and terrain, making them rather repetitive, particularly since I think these are procedurally generated. It's a real loss, which I can forgive given the limitations when the game was made, but this is something that the sequel got right when it injected the additional ship-based strategy decisions, choices, and mission objectives. All in all, for a turn-based strategy game that's older than the average Fortnite player, the old girl's doing great. The depth of gameplay far outweighs the dated graphics, clunky controls, and repetitive side missions. It might be the nostalgia talking, but the game's overall quality in combination with its price, for me, make it a worthwhile endeavour to faff on with the compatibility issues you probably will/did experience. And you can tell though that the makers of the game really cared. Just look at the atmosphere and attention to detail in the mission briefings and menu screens, even the little Betray the Emperor tag for the exit option. I love it, it's got soul, something many modern games and the Eldari lack. Though only one is because a demonic warp god consumed it. The game is proper hardcore Warhammer 40k at its glam rock best. I therefore award Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate 1998, that's a mouthful, a 7 out of 10. I really was tempted to give it an 8 and score it higher than its much newer, shinier sequel, but the controls and repetitive side missions drag the score down, adding a bit of an acidic tang to what otherwise is an excellent vintage. All in all though, I think this is a game that is still very much worth playing, and if any developers are out there, assuming it hasn't already been done, a full modern remake would really be something quite special. Maybe I'll try and make it myself, who knows. Anyway, as always, f*** Zimran, I mean Erebus, and play Chaos Gate.
Fail me not, fail not the Emperor.